All right, hi everybody. This is the video course introduction for Guidance 507, Opening Doors to Student Effectiveness, section 45459. This section starts on February 9th of 2026 at noon. And you will be able to access the Canvas, but not until noon on the 9th. You might be able to see some stuff in there, but you won't be able to access assignments or turn in assignments until the class is actually started. Here is the course syllabus, and I'll show you in Canvas where you can find this when I'm done going through it, but I'm going to just go through this really quick. We may jump back and forth between the syllabus and Canvas in this video. So what I would like to tell you is that this class is only for students in the Opening Doors to Student Effectiveness program. So being in this class requires that you have a contract and that you're on either academic or progress probation. So your contract would be with the Opening Doors office, and you should have a year to get your GPA back up to above a 2.0 or get your classes in good standing, meaning you'll have more completed classes than withdrawals if you're on progress probation. If you're not on either of those probations and you're not an Opening Door student, please drop yourself from this class right away so we have room for students that really need this class. This class does not count towards your degree. It's just a class there as a helper class for students who are on probation. So if you are a probation student and you're in the right spot, here in the syllabus, we have the Opening Doors office contact info, my contact info. Make sure you program my number in. So just so you know, this video has everything that you need to be successful in the class. But the course syllabus also has mostly everything you need to be successful. However, if you're going to choose one or the other, I would say watch this video because it's very comprehensive. And it does contain the extra credit information that I'm going to give only to students who watch the video in its entirety. I will be giving the extra credit information somewhere towards the end of the video, but not at the very end because I want you to actually have to listen to / watch the whole thing. I used to create my intro videos for classes with a video with a camera on myself and me talking, but I actually have done a couple of semesters where I have done it this way with a screen recording, and my students have told me that this is more effective for them to learn about the things in the class that they need to know. So we're doing it this way this semester. So here's some important dates of the class. Please note that spring break is March 16th through 22nd, but we also have a couple other holidays. None of these really affect us, but what affects us is the last day to add the class, which is the 18th of February, and the fact that we have two drop deadlines in the class. If you drop before February 22nd, you have no W on your report card, which seems kind of late to me, but okay. And the drop deadline with a W, meaning it will show that you entered the class and you withdrew from the class on your transcript, which I also have been calling your report card. So that is April 9th. So for this class, that's the situation. It may be different for other classes that are other lengths. So please make sure that you refer back to this important date section here. This tells you a little bit about the design of the class, what it's here for, but I'm just going to tell you that the class is here to help you. And if you're enrolled in the class, I'm actually really proud of you and excited that you're here because I am here to help you. You are very lucky that you ended up in this class. Whatever circumstances led you here, be thankful. Congratulate yourself on deciding to finish school anyway, even though you've had a setback. And also know that I'm going to give you all the tools that you need to be successful from here on out. But it's up to you to take those tools and start using them. I will be giving you information, just throwing information at you. And what I would like you to do is listen, take in that information, decide if it's something that you can use. If it is, implement it right away into your life and into your study skills practices for your courses for this semester. This class will be immediately helpful as soon as you start the class. Okay, so the course materials. It's a little confusing, so I just want to explain. So I have told the Chafee bookstore that this is a required book for the course because it is really a required book for the course. However, I know a lot of you guys are poor and you can't afford the book. So this is the situation. This textbook, if you have money that you're getting from financial aid to purchase the book, it's listed as a required textbook at the Chafee bookstore, so you'll have to purchase it. Why? Because I care about you and I want you to have the book, okay? And if you have somebody else paying for it, sweet, right? If you are buying books on your own and you can't afford this book, okay, that's fine. There's other ways to access the book, but you're gonna need this book to do assignments in the class. There's a couple ways you could access the book, and I'll explain that in a little bit, but mainly it's the library on reserve. There is an online copy of the older version of this book. I believe it's the 7th edition, and you can get all the assignments that you need from that book online, but you can only check it out for 1 hour at a time, and only one student can use it at a time. So you could do that. Or you can try to find a cheaper version of this book somewhere online. You can use the 6th edition or 7th edition for this class. That's fine. But do know that it's not going to be an exact translation of page numbers or chapters. So you may have to do some detective work to make sure you're reading the right information. And mostly what I can say about the organization of the book is the study skills chapters are in a different spot in the 6th and 7th edition. They're at the end of each chapter rather than in a section at the end of the book for the 2 earlier versions. So there is an organizational difference in this book. However, you do need access to a copy of this book to be successful in the class. So either you're going to access it online, you're going to find a copy of it cheaper, and I would recommend the ebook always. So the ebook edition is the one that you should get because it's available right away. And you can also do rentals of the ebook too if that's cheaper, okay? Next, we have the 7 Habits book. This book is truly optional. You don't need to purchase it. However, I do recommend that you purchase it because it's an amazing book, or I wouldn't have it on my recommendations list. This book is significantly cheaper. This one has gone up above $50, and when it was below $50, I had an easier time recommending it and saying you have to get it. But now that the price has gone up, I'm like, let's make it optional, but you guys have other ways of accessing it. This one is cheap. You can get it for very cheap, and you don't need it necessarily right away. You can just purchase it. And I am offering extra credit if you buy these 2 books in the first week of class. We have an assignment due on the 9th, which is Monday. That would be Monday of week 2. If you turn these 2 books in, showing you purchased them, you'll get 20 points for this book and 10 points for this book extra credit. That's 30 points of extra credit. Okay? There are additional materials that you'll be able to purchase later on for assignment credit. So the one is the self-directed search, which is actually, I'm going to click on this so you can see what it is. I'm going to say skip verification. Okay, here it is. This is the self-directed search. And let's see, how do I take it? Let's see, take the SDS now. I'm going to click on that. And it's going to ask me for a credit card, and you'll see this is $18.95. This is basically an online survey. There are copies of this survey at the Chafee bookstore for cheaper, so you can also do that, but you have to hand score it, and it's not very fun. But that's not a requirement. It is extra credit, okay? We also have a book that I am writing, Snap Together Essays, a Modular Writing Method by Amy Borghi. This book will be available in week 9. You'll be able to access it via Canvas. At this point, it's either going to be $10 or $15. I think it's going to be $10, which is why it says $10 here. So this is a book that I had just finished writing. It's in editing, and it will be up by this point, and it is basically how to write a college essay. And I'm going to be teaching you using my Snap Together essay format, which is really cool. And if you would like a guide on how to write all college essays for the rest of your college experience, you'll pay this $10, and you'll fill out my review of the book for extra credit because I'm trying to get some information from students about how they like the book, so I can perfect it before doing my final version, okay? So you guys are going to be my guinea pigs. So the required materials for this class, these are the ones you have to purchase. The daily or weekly day planner, okay? So any model is fine as long as it's a daily or weekly planner, meaning when you open the planner on either each individual page is 1 day, or when you open it up, there's a week on each page. What I don't really want is just a monthly planner where it only has the months, but you can have one that has months but also has the weekly breakdown or the daily breakdown. That's fine. You're going to turn this in it'll be due Monday. You'll turn it in on Monday for credit. The cheapest day planner places that I found, Chaffey has this thing called the Chaffey Handbook. You can usually find it at admissions and records, at counseling, or at the student activities office on campus. This is a free day planner, so you can use that one. If you can't find one, because it is spring semester and sometimes they ran out by this point of the year because they usually print them in August. So if that's the case, then I would go to Dollar Tree, 99-cent store, Target, or Walmart. If you click on this, it will take you to Walmart. So let me show you. I think it's a $5 planner, $5.44. That's pretty cheap, guys. You've got this. All right, and also in the syllabus, if you click on this, it's going to take you to the Chaffey bookstore for your books, okay? So that's kind of handy. I also require that you have a Zoom account because I do offer extra credit open office hours. Okay, those extra credit open office hours, there are 8 of them, or you'll have 8 opportunities to go. And those will be Mondays from 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock p.m. If you can't make that time, I'm so sorry, but that is the time that I have available for extra credit. If you're able to make that time, I don't mind if you just pop in while you're at work. It's really, excuse me, I'm a little sick. Because really, I'm just looking to check in with you. I want to see your face. I want to meet you. I want us to have a conversation. I want to know who you are. So when I'm grading your work, I know whose work it is. And then also, if you ever need me to write a letter of recommendation or give you a job reference or something like that, I actually know who you are. Because online classes can be a little tricky like that. So I use the open office hours just to get to know you. And it's just, I see each student individually for a few minutes. Everybody else waits in the waiting room. So you could be in the waiting room. You can access Zoom via your phone. You can just be at work or do whatever you're doing, living your life out in the world. And when it's your turn, you'll just pop by and say hi to me. I would love it if you would turn on your camera for just a minute so I can say actually hi to you. You do need a student ID card, and if you don't have one or you lost yours, remember student ID cards are free on Thursdays if you show up in person at admissions and records at the Rancho campus. And here is the link to request one online if you need to, okay? So here's a student resource guide for spring 2026. And so this is just all of the links that you need for help for anything. So academic support is here. If you click on this link, you have to be logged into your Chaffey portal. And for this one, you'd have to be logged into Canvas because it's a Canvas link. So you would want to have your Chaffey Hub open and your Canvas open before you start clicking on stuff here. We've got student success centers. We got the library. We got foundation scholarships if you're interested in scholarships. We've got, it looks like the campus store, the bookstore, faculty advisor program, the grad guru. We've got the honors program. We've got the Panther Pantry, which gives free food to people who are in need. If that's you, or if you'd like to donate food, there's phone numbers there. We got the transfer center. I'm trying to get the transfer center into our class to give us some information, but if not, you can click here. And I do want to give a shout out for the TAG program, transfer agreement program, okay? So at this school, we have transfer agreements. If you sign the transfer agreement, basically it allows you to make a contract with a university saying if you get a certain GPA at Chaffey, you'll be automatically granted admission for that college. And we have transfers with UC Irvine, UCLA, Cal State Riverside, UC Riverside, Cal State LA, Cal State Fullerton, to name a few, okay? Our Chaffey College AI policy. So you're not supposed to use AI to write for you, okay? You can use it to get ideas and stuff, but in this class, you don't need AI because, this is all about you. And so it's basically your opinion about yourself. I really hope you don't need AI to write about your experience because that's pretty much what you're going to be writing about in this class. All right, we have this is the opening doors student learning outcomes. So it tells you what things you will learn if you engage in the class. My teaching philosophy, which to summarize is I'm here to help you and I care so much about you. I've been teaching this class for, it's I think we're going on the 18th year here from the beginning of the program. I've been with the program. I think I'm one of the only teachers that have been with the program, if not the only, that has been with the program since the beginning of the program. Also, I've been teaching at Chafee. This will be my 22nd year teaching guidance courses. So, I'm an experienced teacher at this point, and I know what works. And I've perfected this Canvas class to the point where, it's pretty streamlined and things function pretty well. So there may still be glitches and things, but hey. All right, we're going to go over the frequently asked questions really quick. Are there course meetings for this class? No, it's completely asynchronous, meaning you can access it on your own time. The only Zoom meetings are extra credit, open office hours on Mondays from 6 to 7. And remember, you can just pop in anywhere you are. No biggie. It's pretty informal. I will probably also be on the go at some points. I'm a very busy girl, and I know you guys are busy. This is something that you need to know. Can I turn in late work in this class? No. There's one thing about this class that's different from other classes. I do not take late work, period. I guess if you had a medical reason that spanned over the course of a week, so that would be like you have a medical condition, or there's some kind of thing that prevented you from being able to access the coursework for the entire week. Also, I guess court appearances, or like if you were incarcerated or you had jury duty for the whole week or something like that. If it takes up the whole week, then it counts as an excuse. So really the only excuses I'm accepting are doctor's notes for you or your children. Stepkids count. Spouses don't. I'm so sorry. And I've had to make these rules because we've had a lot of students who basically try to manipulate and abuse the system, because this is a class where a lot of students, they're on academic probation for, a number of reasons. And maybe one of those reasons is they aren't so good at getting things in by the deadline. And so this class is designed to help you be better at managing your time. This isn't because I want to be a jerk, and it isn't because I'm trying to make your life hard, or that I don't respect that you have things going on outside of this class. I totally do. It's just that in the real world, when you go into work and all that other stuff, like excuses don't really fly. You have to turn it in by the due date, and if you don't, you just don't get the thing. You might get fired, So we're practicing for that real world life experience, and so late work is not there. It's not happening. Also, I'm really terrible at grading late work, and students that have turned in late work with me understand why I have this policy, because it takes me a while to go back and circle back and grade late work. It's just a hassle. So to save me and you both a lot of time, there's no late work allowed. When is my work late? So all work is due by 11:59 p.m. on the due date. And trust me when I say you need a solid 10 minutes to turn in your work. Do not think you can turn it in 2 minutes, because Canvas can be slow to upload things. And if you are past that due date, all the assignments immediately close at 11:59 p.m. Canvas time, So make sure that you are giving yourself enough time. What I recommend is that you turn in your work the Friday before it's due, so that way you have a whole weekend to enjoy your life. Why are assignments due Monday? Because most classes make their work due on Sundays, and I kind of want to stagger that for me and you. Late work gets 0 points in this class. So all homework is due on the following Monday after it appears in the syllabus, unless otherwise stated by 11:59 p.m. No late work. Can I email homework? Only if Canvas is screwing up will I expect you to email work. All work should be turned in via Canvas. This is my email if you do need to turn in something. If you're having problems with an assignment at the last minute with Canvas, you'll just stop what you're doing, email me the work, and explain to me that Canvas is screwing up. Send any photos that you can. Please know that I can verify if you're having problems in Canvas. There is a Canvas log that tells me exactly every keystroke that you do in the class. So I can look and see if you did try to upload it, and it will give me the error code that you got, so I can look and verify and see that happened to you. No big deal. And if you turn it in via email, it has to be turned in before the due date for the assignment. So if you have trouble with Canvas on Monday, and then on Tuesday you email me the work, it's 0 points. And I mean that. So I'm so sorry, but I'm so strict about this, not because I want to be mean, but because I care about you, and I'm trying to teach you how to manage strict deadlines. Can I make up quizzes and tests? So no, there's no makeups. You have an entire week to take all your quizzes and tests. So if you miss a test, you miss it. Your most recent score counts as your grade. So there's 2 attempts. If you like your grade after the first attempt, stop there because that will count as your grade. If you take it again and you get a lower score, that lower score will replace that first score. So only retake it if you don't like your grade and you're trying to get a better grade. I am trying to teach you here, so there is a good strategy to take the quizzes and tests. Take the quiz, find out what's on the quiz by taking it, and then go back and study those concepts a little more so you can find out the answers and then go back and take the quiz again and get the answers correct. That would be my strategy. All right, so what if I miss an assignment? Well, I do have lots of extra credit to make up some missed points. There is about 20% of the points in the class that can be done via extra credit. So you can miss 20% of the points and still pass the class by using extra credit. What if I'm unable to access the internet? So this is something that happens. There is this thing called California Connects. Let's see if my link works. Here it is. So California Connects is $19.99 per month for a global hotspot. Not bad. I would say use that. That has been, I've used it in the past. I don't currently have it. But if you do not have one of these and you have to, like your internet goes down, I suggest having an alternate internet location that you can access the internet. So whether that's a Starbucks or whether that's a library or whether that's a friend's house, that's cool. If the internet goes down, like in Olive Rancho, Cucamonga, then cool, I will give extra time. If Canvas goes down for a whole day or something, I'll give extra time. But if it's just your internet because like your provider's having a struggle or whatever, I'm not going to give you extra time because remember, I'm telling you, you should get your work turned in on Friday. So if you run into any problems, you have a couple days to ask questions or fix the problem. Can I use AI to complete assignments? Okay, so you can use it as a study tool, all right? If you want to create a study guide, whatever, that's fine. But really, you don't need it for the assignments, and I would say don't use it for assignments in the class because I'm basically just asking your opinion on stuff, and it's about you. So don't cheat yourself, right? So I have a disability. What do I do? So you need to check in with me if you have a disability. If you have a DPS contract, I need to sign it for our class. So that means that you need to make sure that this course, and especially if you added the course after the fact, this course needs to be added to your DPS contract. And I need to sign it before I can put your accommodations in place. Also, you have to request that the accommodations that I signed for be put in place either in writing, in an email, or in a personal meeting with me. So you can send me an email saying you would like your accommodations to be implemented. But I suggest that you set up a meeting with me. You could just talk on the phone briefly to go over your accommodations. Most of the time, well, this class is set up so most people don't need to use their accommodations for anything except the quizzes if you need extra time on those. Otherwise, everything is pretty much you have a whole week to complete things. One thing that no DPS contract ever gives is extra time on assignments. And so the due dates are firm. So if you're somebody that takes extra time to do work, I suggest you start working on the assignments on Monday and then you'll have the whole week. Like work on them a little bit every single day and aim to get them turned in on Friday. Because if you wait until the day of and it takes you a lot of extra time, you're not going to get extra time even if you have a disability or a DPS contract. Extra time on assignments is just not something that I ever see on these accommodations forms. And I'm just letting you know that. I've been here for 22 years. Okay, so what are the extra credit Success Center events? So, hey guys, we have extra credit offerings that are basically done through the Success Center. They're done through the Rancho Success Center. And there are specific instructions on how to do this. You're going to use Academia to set up accounts. You're going to use Zoom to access the meetings. And I will show you these when we get to the part where we're looking at Canvas. But each one is worth 50 points. They're offered throughout the term. So there are set times and dates that each of these workshops is offered. There are 3 of the workshops. And so if you want to do all 3, you kind of have to start at the beginning of the semester and check the schedule and set up your appointments. The appointments, I think you can only set a week or 2 in advance. And so you'll have to keep checking back and doing those appointments. But each one of those workshops is about 45 minutes online. They're super, super helpful. The three that are offered are a mindset workshop, learning strategies or learning styles workshop, and a time management workshop. So all of those are super helpful, and you get 50 points of extra credit for each workshop for a total of 150 points if you want. What do I need to buy for the class? So I already went over it, but again, like I want to tell you, you can access the textbook at the library, okay? So you can go to the library and access it there, no problem. You do need the day planner to get your points. I have free day planners available. I've already gone over that. So is Canvas used to turn in all assignments in the class? Yes. Everything's on Canvas, like I said. Unless you're struggling with Canvas and you have to email me, make sure that email's before the due date. But there you go. What if Canvas is not working? Well, if Canvas is down on a Monday, then I'll extend the deadline, okay? Is there extra credit? Yeah. Oh, wait. There's actually 400 points of extra credit, so I'm just going to change that right now. What's the best way to reach me? So text is the best way to reach me. I always answer text, and especially if you let me know you're from my guidance class, I will get back to you as soon as I can. I do have a day job. I work Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. So typically I'm not available till after 4:30 for text, whatever, but I will text at my lunch break if I can, or during the day if I can. But I work with autistic students who are little, so TK, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, and third grade. And so because I'm working with those students, they require like 100% of my attention. So if I don't get back to you right away, it's because I'm working with another student, okay? But I'll get back to you ASAP. You can also reach me via email, or you can leave me a phone message, but I never answer my phone, never. I only call people back. So if you do call me, it's probably better if you just text me and then we set up a phone call if you want to talk on the phone. So always text me first. And then my email, it takes me about 48 hours to respond to emails. I'm pretty slow with that. That's only because I do keep such a busy schedule, and I do tend to answer my emails in a more timely manner during the week. But over the weekend, I may not check my email as consistently, okay? So do know that if you need something right away, text me. All right, we have our course schedule. I'm just going to explain how the course schedule is set up and the abbreviations here. We have OC for On Course, SC for Success Center, 7H for 7 Habits, and Canvas, okay? So basically right here on the first part, this tells you the topics we're going to review. So testimonials and introduction to the course, fixed versus growth mindset, and sign the syllabus contract by Wednesday 2/4 or be dropped from the class. So this is the biggest deal. You must complete the syllabus contract by 2/4, which is Wednesday, to remain in the class. So we do have a wait list for this class. There's 5 people on the wait list, but there's also countless people who have emailed me asking if they can be added to the class. There's a lot of people that need this class and want it. And so if you happen to add this class, but you forgot that you added a class, or you didn't know that the class was starting and you're not engaged, this is my method to see who is engaged. So if you are engaged, you will turn in the syllabus contract by 2/4, which is Wednesday by 11:59 p.m. If you turn that in, I know you're engaged in the class, you plan on taking the class, and you're serious, okay? If you do not turn it in, I am going to drop those students from the class. I'm going to switch in the students on the wait list who are ready to go, because I do not want students who have signed up for the class and just aren't paying attention to end up with Fs or FWs in the class. So that's what happens to a lot of students, is they enroll in a class, they forget that they're enrolled, and they don't show up, and then they never get dropped from the class for whatever reason, and then they end up with a failing grade in the class that they didn't even remember they were in. So that will not happen to you, because I will be dropping everybody on Thursday morning who has not completed the syllabus contract. So you'll need to do that, and I will show you how to do that. We also have to purchase our textbooks, and again, the only thing that is actually due for points is the day planner. The other books, the On Course 8th edition and the 7 Habits book, are extra credit. That's an extra 30 points for both books, 20 for On Course, 10 for the 7 Habits, okay? If for some reason you can't turn in a day planner, which I don't know why you wouldn't be able to, it's $5, or it's free if you go onto the Chaffey campus and grab a free planner. Hey, if you are struggling that bad that you can't do that, there are extra credit points that you can use to make up that 20 points, so it won't affect your grade in the long run. I don't want money to be an issue, okay? So those are the things, and every week it's set up like that. So it's like the topics are here, and anything big like quizzes and things will be listed here. And then the items you have to read or review, that's your reading, and then more topics, and then here are assignments. Okay, so every week is set up like that, and we have 14 weeks in the class, so I'm just going to fast forward through all those weeks. We're going to go to the end of the syllabus where we go to grading. The final grades are going to be in this format, so the percentage you have in the class is going to tell you what your grade is. So a 97 above is an A+. A 93 to 97 is an A. A 90 to 93 is an A-. And, why not shoot for the stars, right? There are no C- grades at Chaffey. I know, it was a surprise to me too, but there never have been. As long as I've been here in 22 years, there have never been C-, and I still don't know why. Extra credit. Here's all the extra credit assignments. You can see there's office hours, 15 points each for 8 total for 120 points. There's a paper you can write for 50. You have to go to Writing Center Tutoring too. The self-directed search is worth 25 points. That's the one that you have to pay $18 for. The tracking form is 30 points. The 32-day commitment is 15. Success Center assignments are here. There's an additional couple of extra credits that I add throughout the term, and I do give a lot of random extra credit for paying attention. So if you're paying attention to this video, you will get extra credit for completing one simple task before we're done. All right, so this is the grade breakdown for everything in the class. Easy breezy. We've got journals here, 4 journals at 20 points apiece for 80 points. We've got quizzes. There are quizzes every other week in this class. They're online. They're pretty easy, and you have a whole week to complete them. You get 2 attempts. The most recent attempt counts. The time management packet, you get 2 weeks for this. The final exam, there's 2 parts, part 1 and part 2. Each are worth 100 points. The assignments, there's a bunch of assignments here. Each one is worth 20 points for 300 points. We also have over here extra credit worth 405 points. We've got student choices self-assessments. These are assignments that you will need the on-course book for, and this one is in week 2. So in week 2, you're gonna need the on-course book. That's why it's important that you purchase it or find a way to access it. Okay, and we have discussions. So we have 15 discussions in the class. So one week we have 2 discussions, but most weeks we just have 1. And for each of those, they're 40 points, and that's worth 600 points total. The total number of points in the class is 1740. And here's the breakdown of points that you need for each letter grade. So anything below a 1391 is going to be a non-passing grade. So these are non-passing. These are passing grades. So you need 1391 points to pass this class. I wrote you a poem about success. I hope you enjoy reading that. Yes, I did write it. And I really do hope that you are successful, and I aim to help. And please, okay? So we have the syllabus contract here. This, in the syllabus, it's just kind of a mock-up of what you're going to be signing. You will be signing this contract in Canvas. Okay, so when I say you have to sign this by Wednesday, you're going to sign it in Canvas. So here are the things that I want you to know. Due to the nature of the material covered in this class, you need to be aware of a few things. We're learning more than just study skills. This is about addressing bigger issues that contribute to success, such as goal setting, motivation, self-management, self-esteem, and dealing with setbacks. You got to do deeper thinking about yourself. You'll be discussing sensitive and personal information. I don't know what people are going to bring up in this class, but a lot of this is discussion, and we may have some topics that are very sensitive. So just knowing that going in is important. You have to be mentally prepared. We will be discussing topics that have strong adult themes. There are also cuss words in some of my materials. I'm just FYI letting you know ahead of time that some of these topics may come up. And not all of them will, but sometimes they do. And so I want to warn you. This course also uses strong language like profanity. So Yeah, I've been known to drop, the F bomb and the SH bomb when I get really excited about something in my videos, and I'm not going to censor myself. We're all adults, okay? If you're not an adult, please know. I know that sometimes we have younger students accessing college courses, typically not this course, but if you are a younger student, please know that this is, not my typical thing, but we have students in here that are going to actually prefer the use of language that is just more general and relaxed, okay? So that's why. It's a laid back atmosphere. But we're expected to show respect to ourselves, other students, to me, and to each other. And if you fail to show respect for others, you may be dropped from the class, although I have never had to drop anybody for not being respectful. You guys are always so respectful, but we do have to say these things just in case you're not. I've never had to remove a student for not being respectful, ever. I have had to remove students for plagiarism, though, so do know that that is a serious thing and that we do remove students from classes, and sometimes they receive F grades in the class for plagiarizing or using AI without documenting that use. But you guys aren't even allowed to use AI in here, so if you're using AI on assignments and I catch ya, that could be grounds for dismissal from the class, too. All right, if you cannot continue taking this class for any reason, this is very important, make sure you drop yourself from the class, because if you don't, you'll end up with that FW grade, which means fail to withdraw. So even if you stop doing the work, I'm not going to drop you after the first week. So if you don't enter the class, like you don't finish that syllabus contract, excuse me again, I will be dropping you. But I will not be dropping anybody after that point in the class because I don't have the power to do that anymore. So I can only drop students who don't enter the class. So that syllabus contract is my way of determining whether you've entered the class or not. Hopefully that makes sense. So again, plagiarism or cheating of any kind will not be tolerated. You can click here to access Chaffey College's academic integrity code. Oh, it's not here. Maybe we should put the right page. Let's do that. Here we go. They're always moving things around, so here it is. So I'm going to go ahead and add that, and if you were always wondering how to add a hyperlink to stuff, this is how you do it. I'm going to insert and then hyperlink, and then I'm going to go ahead and paste that in. Now it's there. We should go straight to it. Perfect. Okay, fixed. All right, so here's a sample of what the syllabus contract looks like in Canvas, but it says, please sign this digitally in Canvas. And that's the end of the syllabus. Yay, we're done. So now we're going to go to Canvas, and so let me find that. Here we are. So to access Canvas, you're going to start here in your My Chaffey hub. You're going to go to Canvas. It's going to take you to that page. Our class is going to be Guidance 507, Section 45459. I'm going to click on that. All right, so we're starting here on the home page. This video will be replaced with the video I'm recording right now. I used to do, like I said, forward-facing videos, but now I'm doing these screen videos, which is much better. You can access stuff from this page by clicking on these, and you'll be linked to those weeks. But truly, the best way to navigate this class is by going to the module section to access things, okay? So this is what you will see, and I'm going to go to view as a student so you can kind of see what it'll look like for you. So it'll look like this for you, and then you won't see anything past what's open in the class, okay? So we have an extra credit section. Here's our first open office hour meeting. It's worth 15 points of extra credit. Here we go. This assignment is locked until February 2nd because I'm in student view and the class isn't available till tomorrow when the class opens. So I'm going to leave student view so you can see the information. So you'll go here to join the Zoom meeting when the Zoom meeting is happening, which is going to be next Monday, February 9th at 6 p.m. And this is going to tell you a little bit about the Zoom meeting and how to do it. But basically, I'm telling you, you'll go here. You can use your phone if you have the Zoom app on your phone, and you can pop in informally. I'm going to be super informal with this. I just want to say hi. I just want to meet you. That's it. There is a waiting room. You'll wait until it's your turn. So it's first come, first serve. So you may be waiting a while. Make sure you bring something to do. Okay. I'm going to go back to the page before here. Here's the Extra Credit Success Center events, and this gives you information on how to access them. So this gives you instructions. So here's access to the PDF document on how to set up an appointment and all of that. It's very slow to load. Oops. I'm going to close it. It's actually better just to probably download it. There we go. So here it is. So sorry, sometimes things take a while to download onto Canvas, and it's easier just to download them onto your computer. Okay, then we have setting up your academia account here, which will give you more information. Again, if it's taking forever to load, you just click on that. Bam. Okay, so that's all the instructions that you're going to need to set up an account and access your programs. So here we have the mindset event. So this will give you specific instructions for mindset. So you'll follow those instructions. Here is the rubric. It tells you how I will grade your stuff. And this is on every assignment in Canvas, either at the very bottom or it might be up here in the 3 little dots. Okay. Either way, you can find the rubric for any assignment. Those are just due by the end of the term, but remember, they're offered throughout the term. And the video on here shows you how to book an appointment and all of that stuff. So I don't need to go over that here. Here is the course introduction. And so the welcome video is going to be here. You're going to want to start here to read this. This tells you a little bit more about the class and gives you some information that you need to know. I would say watch this and you will have no problems. I think that this is a video on how to navigate Canvas. So if you've never used Canvas, which I think probably all of you have at this point, please watch this video. If you want to know how I grade by whether you followed instructions or not. So all of my grading in this whole class is based on how well you can follow the instructions in the assignment, because most of the assignments are personal and I can't really grade them based on the content. So it's did you follow directions or no? That's how I grade stuff. There's a couple Canvas glitches and things you need to know about Canvas. So the first thing is Canvas times out after a certain amount of time and it doesn't always save a draft for you. So make sure that you don't walk away from Canvas for longer than 10 minutes. Okay, if you're not working in Canvas actively, it will time out and it'll look like you're still logged in and everything's cool until you press enter, and then it'll tell you and you'll lose all your work. A lot of people work in Pages, Microsoft Word, or Google Docs and then just copy and paste into Canvas. Okay, do not send links to assignments. Okay, so links are never a good way to turn in an assignment in Canvas. Google Docs links are not acceptable ways to turn in assignments in this class. And this is very important and very, 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 very important, because if you turn in a link to an assignment, the first time you do it, you'll get half credit. The second time, you'll get 0. Okay? Why? Some people are like, why? Why do you do this to us? We want to turn in links to assignments. You can turn in a PDF, you could turn in a document, or you can copy and paste the text. Those are your choices. Or you can do a screenshot of your work. Those are all fine ways, okay? A picture of your written work is fine too. What I don't want is Google Docs and Dropbox assignments, because you can still edit those documents after you turn them in, and that's not fair. So I just don't think it's fair for people to still be able to edit and work on their assignments even after they've turned them in, because I have a firm due date. So those items, those links to assignments, are not acceptable ways to turn in assignments in this class. All right. So I do have an order that I suggest you do your work in for each week. Check the syllabus for readings and assignments. Then go to the modules tab and find the module, check the assignment list for the current module, and then go to the class session, watch any movies and explore the online materials, complete the assignments, and then turn in the homework. Okay? So remember that online classes do take up a lot of time. There are 9 total hours of work per week for this class, and that's 3 hours of Canvas, 3 hours of reading, and 3 hours of homework. That's 9 hours per week. Okay, this is some information on how to navigate Canvas, which I've already reviewed. Here you can give yourself a speed test, and this is just more information that's similar to what we've already reviewed in the syllabus. Okay, I'm heading back to modules, and we've already gone over that stuff, so you definitely don't need to go over that. The disclaimer is basically what's in your syllabus contract, and there's a video, and there's also this, but again, we've already gone over this stuff, so you don't need to spend too much time on that unless you didn't watch this video for whatever reason. The frequently asked questions is going to be the exact same as in the syllabus. Here's some videos on using Canvas, which we already have in other places, but how to use Canvas for this class and how to turn in assignments on Canvas. Right, I have the assignment, purchase your textbooks and day planners. Let me show you what that looks like. So here you're going to have the video on how to turn in assignments in Canvas. It gives you good examples. Here's the list of things you need to buy, which we've already gone over. This is a video on purchasing textbooks, and then directions on how to turn in the assignment. Okay, to turn in the assignment, let me switch to student. Actually, I can't, but in student view, basically it's going to say like start assignment. You'll click on that. Then you're going to upload items to Canvas. This is your first assignment that you're going to be turning in. If you have more than one photo or more than one piece of the assignment to turn in, you need to put them all in first, then press upload. If you try to turn in each one separately, the newest one will bump out any old ones. So you want to make sure you follow the directions in this video, which explains exactly how to turn in the assignment for this assignment, okay? Here is the rubric. So it says, if you turn in your daily or weekly planner, you get 20 points. For these 2 books, it's extra credit. So you get 20 points here if you turn this one in and an additional 10 here. So you could get 50 here total and get 30 extra credit. So nice, right? Okay. I have an assistive technology. We have this. Using your day planner. So watch the video, or here's the written instructions on how to use the day planner. And the reason why I have you buy a day planner is because of this, but I'm not going to babysit you the whole time. You're buying this day planner to better yourself. And I went to so many workshops and symposiums on time management to help you guys be the best time managers, because I wanted to become a better time manager. All right. And so because of that, I have implemented this day planner thing into the class, and we are going to be using it throughout the whole term. You want to use it for all of your classes, and this is for you, so you can be a better time manager. Am I going to double check and make sure you're always doing this? No, this is on you, Scouts Honor. But again, like, you can choose to engage and learn. No one can make you. I can force you to buy a day planner. No, I can't. Either you do it or you don't. No one can force you to do anything, right? So this is obviously, like, you have choices and there are consequences for your choices. So if you don't buy the day planner, you won't get those points, and you will lose out on all the learning of wonderful time management techniques that will help you be a better student. Or you can use the day planner and you can become a better time manager and a better student. These ways are proven techniques for managing time that have worked for generations and continue to work for students. All right, we've got assistive technology for all students. All right, so these are things that, like, maybe you don't know they exist, but they do. Okay, so text-to-speech software on Windows, on Mac for free, using dictation for Windows and Mac for free. So just follow the directions and you will have those things in place for yourself. I personally use speech to text or text to speech multiple times a day. There's nothing wrong with that. If hearing things works better for you, knock yourself out and do it. I don't mind. Also, I wanted to throw in there that the 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens is also available in an audiobook format, and I accept that format too. Audiobooks are fine. All right. So, free Grammarly. So, Grammarly is a tool that I expect you to use. You can add an extension to Grammarly. Let's see. There's a beta program for Grammarly in Google Docs. I need to update this page. Please pardon me. I'm so embarrassed that this is old, but I will put the new information here. There is, Grammarly totally works in Google Docs now. Let's go there. It looks like this. You're going to sign up for Grammarly. It's free. Okay. You can buy the subscription, but you don't need it. You can just do the free version. I recommend running your work through this or adding the extension to the internet browser where you use Canvas, and then it works in Canvas. I don't have it set up on my Canvas because I'm going to tell you, I've used Grammarly for many years, and I've actually gotten to the point with it where I am so good at writing that I literally don't need Grammarly all the time, because I'm able to write documents in which there are very few grammar, spelling, and punctuation errors just because I've written so much. It's kind of nice. But again, like, I've been around a long time. I'm old. Anyway, so you probably need Grammarly for Canvas. If you turn in work that does not have proper grammar, spelling, and punctuation, you will be marked down, because I expect you to have college level work because this is college. Okay. So if you're turning in stuff that is written like a text message or an online post for Instagram or something, you're going to lose points. This is college. We're looking for academic level work. Use Grammarly to help you organize yourself and your writing and get your grammar, spelling, and punctuation in order. I've had students who have not done this the entire class and have ended up with a C in the class just because they didn't use Grammarly. And it's a big difference in your grade, guys. So please, please, please add the Grammarly extension to Canvas and just correct as you go. All right. This is another section on logging into academia. It's repeat information. Zoom information, also repeat information. Here is our course syllabus. So you'll click here to download the course syllabus. You'll click here to download it. Okay, bam. It's a PDF version, y'all. All right, so next we have the week 1 stuff. So there's a lot this first week. So we have the week 1 assignment snapshot. I'm going to click on this. It just gives you the same stuff that's in the syllabus. So if you don't have your syllabus with you, you can still access what's going on. We also have in week 1 the syllabus contract. So here we are. And basically you can use DocuSign. So here's a video on how to use DocuSign, or you can print. So what you'll do is you're going to just copy and paste from here. So you'll copy and paste. So you'll copy. So Control C, right? Or Command C if you're on Mac. And then you'll paste it into a document like Microsoft Word, Pages, or Google Docs. Google Docs is free, by the way, and Pages is free for those of you who have Mac. Here is the rubric for this class or for this assignment. So you'll turn this in by Wednesday night to remain in the class. This is the one. Okay, so make sure it says signed by 2/4 or be dropped. And I am not kidding. I'm so serious. All right. Then we have the rest of the stuff. So we've got SpongeBob. He's here to be your friend. And we have a fun video. And basically this is just a video that you can watch. It's something I recommend you watch because it will be on the quiz. And we have some course testimonials from previous students for you to check out. These are students who have taken the course in the past. All right, we've got some videos to watch. Make sure you watch those. We've got the meet and greet discussion. This is a discussion in which you will be creating you 2.0. You are evolving your personality into the kind of person that is the awesome student that you will become in this class. And We are going to, I have the instructions here. It's kind of a long video because it's also a lecture, okay? And then you're going to draw a picture of the evolved version of U 2.0. It can be digital or handmade, and any superpowers with explanations. And so here's some examples of what that looks like. Very cute, right? This one was a winner. I will be choosing a winner. The winner will get extra 20 points in the class. Okay, you also have to, when you do your post, it says step 2, you're going to draw your picture, you're going to take a photo and upload that, and then you're going to introduce yourself in the text box as U 2.0. Do you have a new evolved name? Explain your powers, explain maybe a little bit of background about your character, and then you're going to turn all that in, and you'll go back and respond to 2 other students' posts using at least 5 sentences for full credit. So when I say that's how I grade stuff, that's how I grade stuff. So because this is a discussion, the rubric's not at the bottom. It's actually up over here at the 3 dots. So you're going to go up here and go show rubric, and this will tell you how I grade it. So you add a face pic or a pic of U 2.0 to your profile, that's 2 points. You'll upload photos of your drawing, 3 points. You'll include an introduction and explanation in the text box, 5 points. You'll read and respond to 2 other students' posts, 10 points. These other ones are what we call badges, and when you get 2, either 3 or 4 point ratings from multiple instructors over all of your classes, you earn badges that you can add to like your resume and stuff, which is kind of cool. So those don't actually count towards points, they're just towards badges. Okay, so then you'll turn that in, and then next we have, this is the inspirational videos for U 2.0. This is Kwazija here, who talks about identity shifting in one of his podcast videos, and the concept of evolution as popularized by Pokemon. Okay, then we have a college customs PowerPoint for your consumption. And you're just going to take a look at this PowerPoint. Again, if you click on this, you can download that PowerPoint to review. Everything in these modules are fair game for the quiz, okay? So we do have a quiz next week on, and I'm just going to scroll down here. So I want to let you know that if you do not turn in the syllabus contract for whatever reason and you're not dropped yet, you will not be able to access week 2. But hopefully by the time we hit week 2, everybody who's left in the course will have already completed the syllabus contract. We have all these things coming up for next week's stuff. And so here's the quiz. So it's quiz on the contents of week 1 in Canvas. So all of the stuff in week 1 is fair game for this quiz. So please know that that is a quiz that's coming up next week. So that is everything that you need to know for the class. And now is the time where I will explain that if you go to YouTube on this video, so you'll have to click on the YouTube icon on the video on Canvas, it will take you to YouTube. If you leave a comment about how helpful this video is to you, on a scale, let's say from 1 to 10, 1 being it was crappy and it didn't help, to 10 it's super helpful. So leave me a 1 to 10 rating and explain why you gave this video that rating for being helpful or not being helpful in your comment. Make sure that you include your full name because some of you don't have your full name on your YouTube handle. So if I don't know whose comment it is, I can't give you the extra credit, okay? It will be 10 points of extra credit for every student who goes to YouTube and adds that information. Let's see if there's anything else that I need to tell you about the class. There are some things that I do want to add here. So number 1, I am really excited to teach this class. Guidance 507 is my favorite class to teach, and I'm teaching 2 sections of it, one that starts now and then one that's an 8-week class that starts a little bit later. So for some reason this class doesn't work out, you can always hit that other 8-week one, assuming there's openings. I know there's a wait list right now, but as things go, people do tend to drop the class or not turn in their syllabus contract on time, and there are openings that come available. So secondly, I want you to know that I'm rooting for you. Whatever happened before you got to this class, I'll never know. I'm not looking into your history, and I honestly, I honestly don't really think it matters. The only thing that matters now is that you take what you've learned from those experiences where things haven't gone so well and use what you learned to better yourself and be stronger today. Failure is part of the process of success. And I know that's hard to hear sometimes, especially if you did fail at something. And I failed at stuff, and so has everybody. So you're not alone. We are not perfect, and we are never perfect on our first try. So if for some reason you feel like, a failure, stop. Don't think of yourself as a failure. Just think, hey, everybody has failures and mistakes along the way. Those are simply just tests to see how badly we want something. If we want something badly enough, we're going to get up, dust ourselves off, and we're going to get back to it. And that's what you all are doing right now by choosing to take this class. And I have a high level of respect for you and the choice that you're making. Please utilize all of the tools and tips that I have for you here. I have gone to a lot of trouble over the years to compile only the most relevant, important, and helpful tools for study skills and for navigation of life, for time management, and for overcoming procrastination and motivating yourself. I am currently writing 2 books on overcoming procrastination, and those are going to be published soon, hopefully. I've been working on them for many years at this point, but I'm in the process right now of publishing my book on writing, which has also been in the works for a while. You guys are going to be the first class to access that book, and I'm really looking forward to that because I think it will be very helpful for you. I think that's everything. And so, without further ado, welcome to the class. And if you need anything, please give me a text at 909-224-1204. And I'll see you in the class. Thanks. Bye.